Not in one, Alex.
I know. I think that's what everybody at home said, too. Welcome into Weather Center Live on a Friday afternoon. We're going to answer all your questions. I'm Alex Wilson. If your question is, where's Dave? He's got the day off. So Bonnie is here with us.
That's right, and the weekend is almost here. We have your coast-to-coast weekend outlook, and that's the good and the bad coming up in less than 6 minutes.
But we begin with severe weather. It's happening in some of the same places hit hard yesterday. Dr. Forbes, you mentioned the heavy rain threat. We've got flash flood watches posted through a good chunk of Kentucky and much of West Virginia, also a little bit of Maryland, Virginia, and southern Ohio included in that, too. So we're going to be watching these areas. Some of these spots already dealing with the rain. Parts of West Virginia have seen flash flood warnings already posted today. And as we go through the weekend, notice this upper disturbance moves along the ridge, and with abundant moisture in play, that will trigger showers and thunderstorms, some of which could produce some heavier rainfall rates. So these are the areas to watch tomorrow. Anywhere in the red, that's where we could see the threat of severe weather, heavy rain, hail, damaging winds. Saturday night, keeping the same region for the most part under that threat of scattered thunderstorms. We see it move a little further south and east during the day on Sunday, but by the time we get into the day Sunday, some areas could pick up 1 to 2+ inches of rainfall. Look at this, 2 to 3 inches possible across parts of eastern Kentucky, western West Virginia, southern Ohio. In excess of 3 inches in a few areas there, also along southeast Virginia. So Bonnie, something to keep in mind as you're out and about this weekend.
Absolutely, and if you're traveling this weekend, you will have to unfortunately deal with some storms right here in the upper Midwest. But notice the temperature in Seattle on Saturday, 73 degrees. That's more like it. That's actually below normal for this time of year. Sunday, it's looking good across much of the country. There is some rain to talk about in the Midwest, but notice the Northeast, the Mid-Atlantic all stay dry for the weekend. So that's probably what you want to hear. There are some storms, though, ahead for the beginning of next week. Stay with us. I'm going to tell you all.
And we want to take a look back at those violent storms last night. Starting in Pennsylvania, the Mid-Atlantic, those storms really got cranking through the afternoon.
They fired up as well through Baltimore into Philadelphia and right along the Jersey Shore. And unfortunately, that's where we see a lot of the reports for wind damage, Alex.
Yeah, even that one tornado report up near the Hamburg area, but plenty of wind damage or just high wind gusts reported, roofs damaged, trees taken down. So those winds, the severe thunderstorms that you hear about that produce the winds can do just as much damage as tornadoes, so something to really keep in mind.
Good point. And in Kentucky, we also saw some rough weather. You can see the storms rolling through, and when we look at the storm reports in this area, they really come up with a linear pattern south of Lexington, and a lot of this was heavy rain as well as wind damage.
Right, 80+ wind damage reports coming in across parts of Kentucky and into West Virginia, and these are some of the same areas that we're going to be watching for more storms today and through the weekend. Parts of West Virginia have already seen some flash flood warnings placed into effect because they've got a lot of rain, or they've seen a lot of rain, and there's more coming. So unfortunately, we have been dealing with quite a bit of active weather, and we're not really going to get a break as we head into Saturday and Sunday. So your cleanup efforts could be a little bit impacted.
That's true. In Kentucky, this part of the country will be wet as we look towards the weekend, but a lot of other places will be seeing some better weather.
Right. Some are going to be seeing a hot weekend coming up. It's all about the heat for millions of Americans. We are going to show you the places headed towards the triple digits.
That's right, 100+. But as we go to the break, we want to take a look at more wild weather from this week.
Will get your attention. More amazing moments from 10 years ago today. That was our coverage of Hurricane Dennis. And we welcome you back to Weather Center Live on this Friday. I'm Alex Wilson.
And I'm Bonnie Schneider. Dennis turned out to be one of the most damaging storms to the Florida Panhandle when it made landfall 10 years ago.
Well, there you had it, 10 years ago today.
I can't believe it. Time flies. And like a lot of you this summer, the Weather Channel's hitting the road.
That's right. Your summer may be speeding by, but you might have a road trip planned. We have our It's Amazing Out There summer tour, and it kicked off live this morning on Wake Up with Al.
Oh, that's really great. Our own Jen Carfagno and Keith Carson are in Northeast Michigan.
Our producer claims that was the storm that actually made Jim go bald.
That and many that year, probably.
And Mike Bettis just walked in. Mike, have you seen some of your clips?
You haven't changed a bit.
We're showing 10-year-old clips of Mike Bettis. So
I remember back when I was young.
Yeah, I know. We said, oh, how he's grown up.
Yeah.
Well, it was 10 years ago today that Hurricane Dennis made landfall near Pensacola, Florida. Many people along the Gulf Coast will never forget it. They still refer to it as Dennis the Menace.
Yeah, and look, you can see the reason why. Yeah. We're looking at what it looked like back then 10 years ago. Keep in mind the National Weather Service called this storm an unusually strong July major hurricane that left a trail of destruction from the Caribbean Sea to the northern coast of the Gulf of Mexico. And And look at that. It stayed in intensity pretty much even after it made landfall.
Absolutely. So we see it roll over the Caribbean, right up the Gulf and into parts of the Florida Panhandle, devastating storm surge, record power outages, flooding, rain damage. Actually topped $2.5 billion when it finally reached the U.S. on this day 10 years ago.
And there were so many storms that year that this is just one we'll be looking back on.
I think a lot of people go,
Dennis.
I don't remember that one necessarily because the end of the year and September, October, things really got interesting. We've got more dangerous tropical weather happening right now halfway around the world.
Absolutely.